Hello fellow diasporan Ambazonians. Hello friends of Ambazonia. Hello sympathizers of the Ambazonian Recognition Quest. My dad, who is one of the community organizers in the Ambazonia Recognition Collaborative Council, affectionately called the ARC of Ambazonia, have asked that I design this video to explain to you free Ambazonians, friends of Ambazonia, and sympathizers of our Ambazonian Recognition Quest, that you can become an active change agent of change wherever you are residing in the diaspora, to re-steer our recognition quest back into its right orbit by taking this specific action the ARC of Ambazonia is asking of you, that you become part of the global network of Ambazonia Sovereignty Recognition Society, which is how we shine the brightest lights in our Ambazonian nationalism all over the world, and indeed validate the mantra sung on the streets on September 23rd, 2017 in Ground Zero, that Ambazonia has risen to fall no more. Today, our recognition quest will collate all the forces generated at the level of the individual active change agent, such as you, into the collective of the Diasporan Ambazonian Sovereignty Recognition Societies. Will be the day our RQ would have truly completed the Ambazonia Rising to Fall No More nationalism loop. The Ambazonia Rising to Fall No More movement would have gone global as the very visible connectivity grid of Ambazonian nationalists standing their grounds wherever they are, just like you, to restate just the truth of our history in the Midwest Central African region. The network of Ambazonian nationalists will conduct the electricity of the Ambazonian nationalism, which will shine the brightest light of truth in the current darkness of pan-Cameroon falsehood for the world to truly begin and listen and understand our plight. Until we Ambazonians collectively resolved to stand our grounds, know and defend nothing but the truth in our history, as is also in our constitutionality, it will just be another very bad case of a failed African state of corrupt institutions that are inherently and structurally unable to handle the pressure of democracy. My country people then, is it not more than 3 generations beyond time to stop complaining about our demise in this region and start acting to serve only what we should be doing in our best self-interest? Is it not past time to stop talking to ourselves on social media and to start taking the recommended best practices of action, such as creating or joining an AMSORES? All the feel-good exchanges on Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, and more have but a 48-hour shelf life cycle, which savvy politicians have since learned to simply outweight. They essentially are contributing nothing of lasting value to our noble RQ, a part of the self-delusionary psychology of feeling good. So how are you, that individual, going to stand your ground in defense of the sovereignty in the Republic of Ambazonia, wherever you are in the diaspora? Firstly, to ensure that you're doing something about it, and is not another delegation task to these same politicians who are the cause of the current world's indifference and insensitivity to our plight, the ARC of Ambazonia has devised a very simple to execute program which will require your active participation. As you may know, ARC was consciously launched in February 11th, 2018 as the entity to correct the very serious problem introduced into our RQ in 2017 when the Noble Skakuv enterprise was infiltrated by the Pan-Cameroon agents at the Lagos 3 conclave of July 9, 2017. It was later totally hijacked at the 4th conclave, which was hidden in the remote northern location of Zaria. There, the Pan-Cameroon agents were very fearful of our RQ trending towards adopting the constitutionality doctrine in the Republic of Ambazonia. After dully noticing the signed constitutionality doctrine documents of Lagos 1 and Lagos 2 conclaves, they executed their master plan. This plan violated the Ambazonian people's wishes that our RQ desist from creating any more emancipating quest entities when they harshly and unconstitutionally want to create the number 8th interim government in our history. That did not faze these Pan-Cameroon serving politicians. You must know that tactically creating interim government number 1 of the Republic of Ambazonia is a successor state from the automatic effects of the law of creation and extinction of states in the February 4th, 1984 Restoration Law 8401. This law dissolved the 1961 fake Cameroon Confederation. At the same time, it created the 2 sovereign states of Republic of Ambazonia and Republic of Cameroon. Please, Ambazonians, take special note of this fact of your history, that your inalienable sovereignty was neither inherited by the United Kingdom nor the Republic of Cameroon. This is because it was automatically inherited by the successor state in the Republic of Ambazonia. We must consistently be insisting that our sovereignty was timely as it was simultaneously inherited upon the passage of February 4th, 1984 of the Restoration Law 8401 by the indigenous created successor state of the Republic of Ambazonia, so that we can never be accused of the deadly sin of acquiescence. Please take note that this constitutionally originated and legal validated Republic of Ambazonia has been in operation since the fateful day of the Restoration Law and still is in operation till date. This being one truth, as you should know, since it's the basis of ARC's mandate, being very important to our RQ, can only beg this one question. Just why then did the politicians who gathered at Zaria find it necessary to create the number 8th interim government in our struggle when they knew the first government was still in operation? To fully undertake and answer this question, you must know immediately that ARC was created precisely to solve this Zaria mafioso problem of blankly reckless substitutionism and politicking, which is the cause of the confusionism emanating from our RQ today. And to facilitate the execution of this mission, ARC launched and has since been operating an ongoing campaign from the recognition of the Republic of Ambazonia program, known by its acronym, the CARA programs. It is in pursuit of this goal, and to ensure its taps into the tremendous stocks of fallow talent that are to be found amongst diasporan Ambazonians, that ARC felt the need to adapt the CARA programs at the most logical, sustainable grassroots level. Hence, the Ambazonia Sovereignty Recognition Society AMSORES campaign was adopted as a platform that will seamlessly integrate and deploy all the best practices our RQ so desperately needs. And better still, this is the yet-to-be-executed change process that will be deployed by diasporan Ambazonians themselves, and not some group of reckless politicians. Our RQ needs to repeatedly and convincingly tell the world about the truth of our RQ, now lost in the fog of pan-Cameroon bred Confucianism. All Ambazonians who reside in the free world of the diaspora and by practical operation are outside the range of the current Franco-Cameroonian genocidal war, now raging in the ground zero, are invited to become active agents of change in this change process. They will be consciously assisting ARC in its practical application of the CARA program via forming AMSORES. By your participation in the ARC's AMSORES campaign, you will be consciously working towards the permanent solution of peace, security, and prosperity, which this time around will be one built on the concrete foundation of justice. This is the base philosophy of how the ARC of Ambazonia envisages the AMSORES branches to be formed. At the same time, they are to be self-engaging, self-sustaining, and self-propagating. We together as the Ambazonian people have resolved to take action now. We, as the motivated Ambazonians who have refused to be mistreated both by the condescendingly insensitive international community and by our own naive and opportunistic politicians. We, as the motivated Ambazonians who have done our own due diligence in reviewing the easily available and applicable literatures, and as a consequence have to be very comfortable in acknowledging this time-one moment fact that yes, indeed, the ARC of Ambazonia was consciously created in full plain view of the public and with good intentions and in all honesty to precisely solve the recent self-inflicted problems of our RQ. That the worst of these problems happened when the noble Skakuv enterprise that was created to unite our RQ was sabotaged in October 2017 at the Zaria Mafiosos event. We, as the motivated Ambazonians, who have recognized that unless these clearly identified problems have been solved, not as it is the case now, literally shoved under the rug, nothing of predictably good essence can be the outcome of any subsequent processes in this our RQ. We, as the motivated Ambazonians, who have now admitted that the massive violation of the January 21st, 2017 Capitol Heights Conference resolution is a shameless violation of our people's trust in their representative politics, must recognize that until the Ambazonian people wake up and reject this evil and the metamorphosizing enterprise derived from the interim government number 8, the damage to our RQ will only get worse. Right now, these problems must be considered as a free gift that keeps giving Cameroon, as it continues to spew its confusionism in our current RQ. The latter is a very nutritious political food that has been feeding saboteurs, agent provocateurs, and counter-revolutionary forces of that lurks in our RQ. And since all evidence have continued to show that the folks who brought the concept of interim government have refused to admit their faults, but have instead further dug their heads into the ground as they are splintered into 2 interim government number 8s and have clearly even more emancipated quest entities Despite of the Capitol Heights Conference prohibitions, you, the Ambazonian people, must consider all these threats to our very existence and survival in this subregion seriously now and take matters into your own hands. We must take it as our personal responsibility to serve only the truth and nothing but the truth, as our commitment mantra in our noble RQ. Therefore, it will be in our best self-interest to find a permanent solution to this problem of incoherence in our RQ, because it has since become a matter of life and death, as the Franco-Cameroonian genocidal war is right now killing the ever unsuspecting innocent people of Ambazonia. We, who have recognized, as the saying goes, that the best way to stop a runaway brakeless train is to rush ahead of it and reset its tracks. We must leapfrog ahead of the current momentumous confusionism and join ranks with those who know we must take action now as to take back control of our hijacked and runaway RQ train. This is the role we all will be playing via the ARC AMSORES campaign as it rushes to reset and restate the true messages about our current subjugated sovereignty. Imagine if we succeeded in this mission. The Ambazonian nationalism, being emitted from the several global AMSORES branches, will be the practical equivalent of the very huge truthful message to the rest of the world that Ambazonia has risen to fall no more. As you must know, the Arc of Ambazonia is made up of constituent entities who collaborate in the CARA programs to implement the permanent solution, and therefore should be viewed as a supranational organization, which caters only for the needs of our sovereign state and nothing else. And as a consequence, we should be confident that we are fully in charge of our destiny at this most efficient and final grassroots level of Ambazonia sovereignty recognition societies. Collectively, the world will notice that we have stopped talking, stopped doing all these counterintuitive things, as continually delegating our responsibilities to crooked politicians who are assisting pan-Cameroonism and have finally taken action. Equally, the world will start seeing us as sovereign people who know how to serve their best self-interest via the constitutionally originated and legally validated sovereignty in the Republic of Ambazonia, whose very distinctive nationalism they now unapologetically promote. The much feared doomsday scenario of the imminent train wreck of our RQ have been averted by this constantly taken action of our electing to create or join that AMSORES in our local community. This is how the ARC AMSORES branch will be created. You, as that motivated Ambazonian, will go out and draft 4 other motivated individuals just like you. These individuals could be of any of these combinations: Ambazonians, friends of Ambazonians, and sympathizers of our Ambazonia RQ. Together, 5 persons qualify as a minimum requirement to open an Ambazonia Sovereignty Recognition Society branch. The world needs to be inspired by this bold action you and your colleagues have taken. Therefore, ARC will need to announce that this AMSORES branch has been created. For this reason, ARC needs just one name. This could be the name of a member who can afford their names to go public, to either volunteer or be elected as a community organizer of this AMSORES branch. Next, in the public announcement document would also be the branch public acknowledgement to be committed to the ARC Kiss Goodbye mantra. The ARC's AMSORES branch concept was designed to steer clear of any controversies of politicking, which is now the bane of our RQ. The ARC Kiss Goodbye mantra is a conscious attempt to draft Ambazonians in these grassroots levels to keep it strictly simple by kissing goodbye all politicking. Everyone should be able to appreciate why we need this new kiss goodbye paradigm. Our RQ is in dire need to keep it strictly simple so that a non-political person would be comfortable in joining the new change process, such as an AMSORES branch near them. This ARC's KISS mantra should simplify things for ordinary non-political Ambazonia people when dealing with the constitutional deconstruction of the false Cameroon system, who should be convinced by the sheer strength of the unimpeachable truth of our history to now be immune to all politicking. Try comparing this our default state of truth against the falsehood of the evil pan-Cameroon agenda. This time, because of our common action in creating and joining AMSORES branches, the peoples of goodwill all over the world will see clearly why only brute fear and sheer terror have reigned in the country called Cameroon since 1960. They will understand just why this totalitarian country has been very efficient at eliciting compliance to perpetuate its anti-democratic political culture since its creation in 1960. As a consequence, everyone will also be able to appreciate the very clear case of incompatibility between the English and French systems, which with your help the world will get to know. The evil 1961 bilingual experiment has so horribly failed and must be stopped now. As all Ambazonians should be proud to know, this is akin to a diasporan version of Ambazonia Rising to Fall No More movement. This is a movement that taps on our RQ's newfound philosophy of functionally congruent relationships that admit self-reliance, collaborations, and confidence. And as a practical demonstration that we have accepted full responsibility of our destiny in this subregion, this announcement will also carry our commitment to ensure that sustainability and propagation of the ARCC program campaign when each member agrees to 1. Contribute their $1 per day to the RQ. 2. Contribute their 1 hour per week to the RQ. 3. Contribute their 1 new recruit per month to the RQ towards their lifetime tally of 3. Try to imagine the exponential content of what we, the diasporan Ambazonian people, have just done by volunteering to create or join the AMSORES branch in our local community. Note that the AMSORES branch, which you have created or joined, that now bears the name of your city, state, and country, will start the electricity grid that will transmit Ambazonian nationalism all around the world in a predictably short time. This will be a certainty if we are all committed. Recall that commitment to recruit 1 new member each month towards that lifetime maximum tally of 3 members. Here lies the key to success of the diasporan version of the Ambazonia Rising to Fall No More movement. If everyone was to get out there and persuade their still shy, unsure, and hesitant friend, that wavering uncle, that mercurial aunt, that still rambling classmate, that politically correct and cautious workmate, that usually indifferent roommate, that incidentally encountered person at the train station, the airport, the concert, the grocery store, the mall, etc., 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 we will be bound to meet our lifetime quota of 3, even before the 3 months elapse. Of course, nothing stops you from continuing to promote the AMSORES branch concept after you maximize your recruitment drive, since you are in the best position to know just how potent the power of our collective voices can be. You are now an AMSORES branch graduate. Imagine when all members of these Ambazonia Sovereignty Recognition Society branches would agree to physically gather in one location, such as Washington, D.C., New York, London, Berlin, Rome, Paris, Abuja, Accra, Nairobi, Johannesburg, Hong Kong, Peking, etc., etc. We will surely generate a very loud noise and leave a very huge permanent footprint of our Ambazonian nationalism for the world to get to know of our plight. Now the world has a very concrete reason to recognize our sovereign state, because it has been so clearly articulated, as it has equally been so persistently presented to the world, just as the rules of the law have it. The world has also become convinced by the very visible expression of our conviction that we know that the rules of the law exist in our matter, that these rules cannot expire by passage of time, that they should never be selectively implemented, that these rules of the law which apply to our RQ, which will forever remain inalienable, as they will remain indestructible and immutable, all while reflecting our sovereignty in the Republic of Ambazonia. Now truly, it can be said, Ambazonia has risen to fall no more. So whenever we Ambazonians in the diaspora sing the Ambazonian national anthem, and they say these words,
Hail, hail, hail this land of glory, we the Ambazonians, nation loyalty, praises to our Savior who granted us the freedom.
Now indeed, we can truly say we really mean what we sing as the practical manifestation in the diaspora of execution of that loyalty pledge that has been put into action in AMSORES. As a member of an AMSORES branch near you, you have pledged your loyalty to your country, Republic of Ambazonia. You are doing this in the hope that the sooner the CARA program's permanent solution yields fruit when a sovereign state recognizes our sovereignty, the sooner we will be alleviating the plight of our suffering people in ground zero, from right where you are residing in the diaspora. Thank you for boarding the Ark of Amazonia via the AMSORES branch near you, read by Mbe Kayubun.
C'est le bébé de la femme là qui faisait pitié, la femme qui est venue avec le magicien là ici. Je déclare le centre d'instruction ouvert. Je déclare la manœuvre ouverte. I don't believe you. J'ai déclaré la manœuvre ouverte.
Delighted, each time I talk in my dialect, and they make them feel so excited. Anytime they feeling rejected. Man for me, I will I want. Virgil one goes away. We proud of who we are. Versi tutti nay, versi tafsi nay. Virgil one goes away. We proud of who we are. Man for me, I will I want. time I talk in my dialect, I did make them feel so excited. Anytime they feeling rejected. Man from here, we like one. Virtual one goes away. We proud of who we are. Versi tutti nay. Versi tafsi nay. Virtual one goes away. We proud of who we are. Man from here, we like one. Each time I talk in my dialect, I did make them feel so excited.